Okay. Ah, no, there we go. I think that I might kill this and restart. All right. Take two for the day. That's gonna look odd on on replay. If you like, what, take two? What do you mean? No, I've just actually restarted the stream because it looked like I wasn't having any actual audio come through, and it'd been a couple of minutes. And if there was no audio coming through after a couple of minutes, well, there's probably no point in salvaging that bit of stream. We'll just restart it, and we'll truck on from here. Anyway, so we are going to be back with our video conferencing application today. If you caught any of last week's stream, we got to the point where we were able to establish a call between two browser windows, and that seemed to be working all smoothly. There was some audio feedback loops that were happening, which was just the result of the browser like sharing the same microphone and like same input output devices as we were running previously. So well, that wasn't great. I think that we've got that solved by kind of redirecting where audio happens within my machine. If not, we will be trying to implement a mute functionality with inside of the application today, because that will be very useful for going forward. Is if we can actually mute that. Yeah, we kind of want to be able to do that. But we will kick off. So got a little bit of there we go. That's fixed my my background blurry stuff that wasn't working quite right. So the after last week's stream, and I was trying to work out how we could show the remote participants, so that the person that joined the call, and like how you could see the other people that were in the call, because that wasn't really working properly. Like you could see that you were in the call, and the other person was getting essentially a notification saying that you were in the call, but it didn't actually show the other person's video feed. And I was playing around with it, and I think that the problem was, bring up the git diff, was that I was using callbacks to set up the so using the use callback React hook to create the functions that were being provided to the events that are being subscribed on the call itself to load the video streams, load the remote participant streams, and things like that. So I went ahead and removed those. So that's the code that I've got here. But I actually think that that was not the right solution. I think that the problem was that I wasn't listening to some additional events that I needed to be listening to. So we're going to have a look at that today, and we might actually revert this change that I've done here, because I think that it's incorrect. But just to kind of recap, if we fire up our browser, bring it over here, localhost 8080, we can start a call. Ooh, where's it? I can install this as an app. Because it's a progressive web app behind the scenes. Or at least it had that functionality provided in the Create React app template. Now we will use our virtual camera. It's going to be over there. And we will select our microphone. We'll start the call. And then I should probably clear up some of this stuff at the top here. And we'll create a new one. Whoops. There we go. We will join the existing call. And we'll just call that right, so we can identify it easier. You can also use the virtual camera. This one, we will use the same microphone. We'll join the call. There we go. Okay. Don't. No, I've got the feedback happening. Let's see. If we mute that edge, that should solve the problem. Yes, excellent. Okay, and you'll notice here that there's a lot of me on the screen. And that's because I've got it actually showing the remote participant here in this bottom panel. So that's the participant on the so that's the left screen there. I should have done them as separate cameras so that I could tell who was who. Oh well. Anyway, so this is the left screen, but you'll notice that they're not seeing that. That's not coming up here. So we should be getting it on this side as well as on this side. Now, I think the reason that that's happening is because I'm not subscribed to the right events. So I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to stash these changes. So essentially undo the stuff that we had there. Cool. Because I think that the callbacks still work fine. And we will go back to connect, terminate the call. We'll see that they've disconnected there. This one, we'll call that left, and that can select the virtual camera there with that microphone, start the call here, and then this one we'll pick a different camera instead. We will go right, and then we'll use the OBS virtual camera, which means that we're going to get a whole bunch of screen inceptions and stuff like that, but at least we can see who's who in the zoo a little bit easier. Okay. So that's okay. So no, that hasn't solved the problem. Like we aren't seeing our friend anymore, and I think this is because this is thinking it's still in a connecting state, whereas the other side, it does know that you've connected. And I think that's because we've now got an order of execution problem with the way that the events are firing and the hooks that are happening, so on and so forth. So let's stash pop. So let's bring that back in. So maybe we will ditch the hooks for the moment. Might be just simpler. Okay. Wonder if I can reload that one and reconnect to the call. This virtual camera and that, join the call. Okay. There we go. So it's connected. Interesting. We didn't get... I wonder if that was because I attempted to reuse a call. Whoa. So many things happening, which is just the same screen. Let's establish a new call. Interesting that this one still thinks it's connected, even though the participant disconnected. Maybe there's other events that aren't being triggered, like when you leave the call. So we'll do that. Start a new call. So many calls. Calls happening everywhere. And here's our virtual camera. Okay. No. Oh, no, there we go. Okay, so yeah, it was probably just the fact that the call was kind of being reused. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely seeing that there, but we're not seeing it over on the left-hand side, which means that we're likely getting a like an out of order. Sorry, we're not subscribing to events that we should be subscribing to. So we'll leave that change in for now, because it seems to actually be having that positive effect that I'm hoping for. So this is within inside of calling context. No, it's inside of active call. Yeah. Now, I think the problem is that the callback hook wasn't getting replaced as frequently as I was needing it to be replaced. Yeah, so I think that was the fundamental problem. Now, if we, which one is it? It's this one here. So we need to work out, why am I not seeing the friend in the original call? If we pop over into some dev tools, punch that at the bottom, and we'll have a look at our component structure. We'll see that on the active call context, we do have the remote participant. Like, we do have their name and everything like that. But I think that what's happening is that we aren't being notified when the stream is ready for the remote participant. So we are going to do that. So we're still going to need the remote participants there. Okay. But we go streams.added. So all the new streams we've got, we'll do a for each. Oh no, I don't like using the for each array method in JavaScript. I like using map and filter and stuff like that. I use them a lot, but I don't like the for each. It doesn't feel very functional to me. Instead, we're going to do a for const stream in of the added streams. So a for of loop, if you haven't come across that in JavaScript, so a for of loop is a way to iterate through items of an enumeral collection, or like a collection that supports enumerated values. So this is arrays, but it's also array-like objects. So we could use for of against DOM results. So if we do like query selector all and get stuff back from the DOM, you can't really, it's not really an array, so you can't perform array operations on it, except for the fact that it's kind of like an array because it has numerical indexes and a length property. But if instead, if we've got a for of, that will allow us to iterate through it. It essentially works with things like generators under the hood. So this means that I can iterate over something that's a collection. And then I get back this one, which is a remote participant. And we want to do stream.on. So we're going to subscribe to an event on that stream. And then video stream updated. I think that's the event we might want to be listening to. And then this, I don't think this takes any arguments, does it? Okay, so the video stream is updated. But if it doesn't receive any arguments, let's have a look. Video streams updated. Oh no, maybe it does. X, we'll just call it X because it's easy. Stream, no. So that's a remote participant. The remote participant, the remote participant has remote video streams. Hey Arthur, I see you've popped into the chat there. So it gives me the so remote participants event gives me the participants, the remote participants updated. So that's when people join and disconnect, if I understand correctly. Whereas we then once we've got everyone that's connecting, we then need to subscribe to the video streams updated. So when their video stream is available, we can then push that through to the current client. I think I'm correct on that. In fact, let's go to the hero sample, because that was somewhere that I was having a look through all of this. Yep, so remote participants updated, and then they subscribe to participant. Video streams updated, and yes, if it adds the video, interesting that it bails out if it's a video stream. So is this actually only for adding and removing video streams? Screen shares. Availability changed, and then add or remove screen share. On video streams updated. Maybe we still actually just have an order of execution issue. I mean, the video streams updated is useful regardless, because that will be a way that we can check screen sharing capabilities. But let's just console.log x so we can see what's coming into there. And then what was the other event? Is speaking changed? Yeah. Participant state changed. Ooh, maybe I need to have a look at that one. And then we'll do stream.on participant state changed x, and then console.log x. And oh, hang on a sec. What is participant? Oh no, that's just a. Oh no, that's just a standard event. So that will be on. No. Who is this? This is the remote participant themselves. So let's not call that stream because that's a little bit confusing. That's participant. Go, and then we'll do the participant. So we'll just log out so we can see what their state is. Cool. And we'll actually just finish this off with a console log participant. Okay, and let's have a look at the other events. Participant.on is speaking changed, and then is speaking changed. Let's have a look. Is mute changed? Display name changed? Oh yeah, I should do something with display change. And that is just a that's just a property change. So that's just a property change on the participant as well. So let's go and put this in so that we can track which event is which. Oops. Now we'll duplicate that line. Grab this, that. There we go. I'm not going to worry about mute state because I don't actually have a mute button yet. Okay, we'll start a new call. I'm going to leave that information up there at the top. But now, yeah, okay, cool. So there's now tracked as disconnected, so that we did actually disconnect that call. We'll call this left with the virtual camera, and then we'll start that call. We'll pop this onto the right-hand side. And so there we go. We're on the call there. We'll call this right. And OBS virtual camera, a microphone, join call. Oh, I forgot to open up the console in the DevTools here. So, okay, so I have something there. Yeah, okay. So I have some. I need to put a key on props in the video display. Yep, I have multiple video displays somewhere. Interesting. Okay, so we got the remote participant added. Then the participant state changed. So this is when they initially joined. Their state was state 3, whatever state 3 maps to, I'm not sure. And then the participant state has changed to state 3. Okay, maybe I'm gonna oh no, connected. State was connected. Is speaking changed? So hang on, is speaking changed probably actually going to be freaking out a little bit because it's tracking whether or not, like, which of the two screens, which are both connected to the same microphone, is speaking. Okay. So the participant connected. and then their state changed to connected. Interesting. I mean, they were already connected, so their state changed into connected. But what I probably need to be doing is doing a notification that results in a re-render of the participant list for the on the left-hand side screen, so on the original screen, because I think what's going to have happened, actually, we might be able to force this, not in Profiler, under the component tree. So what is likely to have happened, if I can get the components, there we go, is that the remote participants, it's like, okay, yeah, cool, that's happened, a thing's happened for that remote component, like there, but we haven't resulted in any changes that React is aware of to this collection, so it doesn't know to re-render anything in this collection. Whereas if I come back up to the state here, which is going to be this bottom one, and we'll just, this might break things, but we'll go one. Yeah, okay. Broke things. Whoops. And now I don't think I can actually get back to that because I just hosed it completely. Whoops. But I love that it's still connected. I can still see myself bouncing around on the video call on the side. Yeah, look, I understand why that error happened. Yeah, what we're going to need to do is something that basically forces the participant list change. Okay, so I think this is going to be a, instead of calling this streams, we'll call this remote participants. Okay, so instead of doing that, we will need to, is this inside a whole connect to group call? No, it's not. So I can grab, no, because that'll be captured then, won't it? I don't have any way for this function to know about the remote participants. So what I'm thinking of doing is, instead of just as soon as they're added, immediately push them into the list, we can add them only once they're connected. So if we do participant.state there, and then here we'll do participant.state. And then if I'll just uncomment that for the moment. And then we will start a new call. Left. You can have the OBS virtual camera today. Connect, start call. I'll fix that one in a moment. Tell this one to join. Right, with that. Here we go, join call. Okay. There we go. So idle, connecting, connected. So if we hold off until they're connected before we push them into the collection of remote participants, or push essentially like a dud object in there, and then we progressively push more and more in. That, I think that will be a simpler approach. Because you kind of, we could have multiple layers. Like you essentially have like, here's the list of people connecting or that are in the call that are not in a fully connected state, and then the list of people that are in the connected state. That might be the better approach there. Because that way you can show like, here are the people that are joining the call, here are the people that are in the call, and here are the people that are like just leaving the call, or like here are the people that were at some point in the call. Like we could do that even. But the problem is going to be that we need to make sure that this callback function here isn't always, it needs to be able to get access to this array of remote participants. And how do we do that? Well, you can't just use it with inside of this callback function, because that callback function is created only once. And every time that is changed, so every time that array changes, it won't actually see that because it's captured the reference earlier through closure scopes. Instead, I'm going to grab this code. We are actually going to git stash again, because I'm going to put it in here. And then the remote participants will take the remote participants array, which is there. And then this is called streams. That will be RPs. That. Okay. Remote participants. And then instead of doing this, we will go if the participant state equals, is that okay? So it is an enum. Remote what's it? Remote participant state. Remote participant state. Nope. Oh, it's not an enum, it's just a declared type. Which means that it needs to be, so this is a problem. You kind of need to know what it is. So we'll go connected. I was hoping it was an enum so I could just do dot completions on it, and then that would work better. Like that would have been my preferred approach. Remote participants dot push the participant, and then we'll do set remote participants with the remote participant. Or actually, no, we don't do that. We will do this, comma, participant. Okay. And then we could probably do a similar thing here with the local video streams. I don't think we're going to need to. And then the call state changed. No, I don't think that. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how broken that makes things. Connect. Okay. Connect there. Where's our other tab? Whoops. Start that call. That one. 12. There we go. We'll join. Yeah, it can be XSplit as well. It's all right. So we're going to clear that off. Join the call. Okay, so we're connecting. Ahaha! There we go. Because the participant was idling. So until they joined, we didn't actually try and render out a display for them. So like what we can do is we can put the participant when they're in like an idle state into a stack and kind of just like essentially a buffer stack. And that video is really grainy. I'm going to blame it with the fact that I've got 4 copies of that running, plus my OBS is running trying to capture video, and then that's being pushed out on Twitch, which I've got running on a different screen. And yeah, it's pretty gnarly, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, like that video really is looking very, very granulated and pixelated. But okay, so that's cool. So now we have that order of execution correct. And we've got some, we're able to unsubscribe essentially from all these event handlers. Oh wait, I'm gonna say, yeah, okay. So we are in the correct state, except this one here on the right is still thinking it's connecting, which means that it hasn't fired off the set call state enough times. But I think we can live with that at the moment. And there is another console.log somewhere. I don't know where though. I think that might be no, it's not set local video streams. That would be the video streams updated. I should really prefix these. Video streams updated. There we go. So I know where things are coming from. And we'll get rid of that. Okay, so if they're connected, that's good. Actually, we can probably do a switch on this instead. So we'll do a switch participant state. And we'll do, no, that's not how you spell switch on that. And we'll do case connected, which will be do this and then break. And then we'll do case disconnected. We will do set remote participants to being remote participants dot am I going to do a splice? Yeah, I think we'll do. Actually, no, we can go. Const index is remote participants index of the participant, and then we'll do dot splice. No, slice. Start at 0 to the index, and then we'll concat the remote participants slice from index +1. Oh, I can't wait till we have just array.remove. Like, I just want remove. I just want remove from that array. And then concat will return a new array of those. So yeah. So when they disconnect from the call, so like if we had 3 people in the call, when they disconnect, it should remove them from the list. And the other thing I'm going to do on the call, just close off some of those things that I don't need, is I am going to let's display the name of the person that's joined, so we can do 3 people joining and then actually verify that someone does remove themselves. Key. So I add the key here, which will be stream dot. Ugh. What's that return? Get source dot ID. Yeah, it's going to be pretty ugly. Key is going to be the stream. That one's easier. We don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess the source ID is kind of what we want at that point in time. Yeah, that should do. All right, let's try and make life even harder for ourselves and connect 3 devices. Connect. Oh no! Actually, before we do that, I'm going to display names over the top of it. Video. Oh, sorry, it's up here. Here's the video display. It's going to append that child to there. I kind of need a div that's sort of video display. Because on a remote video, oh no, that's just a remote video stream. We don't actually know. Oh, I need the remote participant really. So the remote participants on the participant. So the remote participant. We could go so name participant dot display name. Okay, we're gonna add props is gonna be that, and then we'll do name, which is an optional string. Cool. And then name is going to be called. Is it? It's not on the call. It's on. I need the call agent, won't I? I don't think there's anything on the active call context text that I want there. I think that's where the call agent is what I'm going to need, which is on the calling context. No, where do I get? Let's have a look at my. Let's look at my hooks. The user call settings. We can get the name from the user call settings, which will be. We'll import use user call settings context from /hooks user call settings, and then we will get the const name use user call settings context and name. So that is your name. Your name is then going to appear span, and we'll do props.name. Okay, so that should sit somewhere inside of that. We're going to put a class on this as video display. Reload, reconnect, we'll call this left with the VCam and the podcaster. There we go, there it says left, excellent. Pop over here to right. Right, we'll use this camera and then this microphone, we'll join that call. So right, that's my name, left, right. Because there's a null video stream. Or one that I'm not actually creating a video stream from. That's why I'm needing the set keys. Okay, cool. And now we will create a third window. I'm actually just going to chuck this off to a different screen because it's all getting too much. And then we'll go other. This one can use the virtual camera from OBS, and then I am going to grab a null audio device on that one. Okay, and we'll see what happens. So it sees left. Okay, so it's blown up. Okay, so it's blown up here, and it's blown up because it didn't actually get the DOM element that the DOM element ref, which is weird because I didn't think there was a scenario where we could not. Class name. Wonder if that was the problem. So vidref is attached as a ref there. I don't think that promise should ever complete prior to the render of completing. I'll have to have a look at that. Let's just rejoin. Let's attempt to rejoin this call. Other. Virtual camera. And then audio device. Okay. Here we go. No, so it is definitely exploding early. So we can see it again. It's exploding because the vidref, which is the reference to the DOM element as a React hook, doesn't exist yet, which means that this callback is being completed before the render has completed, which I didn't think was going to be possible. We're going to do some debugging on this. Source. Gonna pop that one. No, we'll leave it here. And we want call.tsx. That's where we're at. So we're gonna put a breakpoint there. Put the breakpoint there. We'll reload. We'll see what happens. Other with virtual camera. Okay. So our breakpoint didn't work because for some reason it decided not to set the breakpoints. Fantastic. Interesting. Because this isn't the call page. Bang. Let's turn on that. Okay. So we just force it by. So I've just activated the don't pause on exceptions. So this means that we'll always break if an exception is occurring, regardless of whether there's a breakpoint. Even though there is a breakpoint, I just don't know why the breakpoint didn't load. Now the vidref doesn't have a current one, which we knew, so it's from there. But I feel like I might need to put some logging into this, because as far as I can tell, it has actually been executed asynchronously. We can see that this is the result of a promised callback. Is there anything like? Yeah, it's there. It knows it exists. Maybe what's a better idea is we will just wrap this here. We go if not vidref.current. So if we haven't actually got the DOM element reference yet, let's just skip over, because here we go. All right. Because there's no point in attempting to render until we've got that DOM reference. Like I said, I don't understand how we would actually get to a situation where we've got that, because the render shouldn't have happened yet. And we'll just pop the DevTools away for a moment. Okay, so nah, see, that's what I was worried about, is that, see, vidref doesn't actually change because it's the reference to the DOM element. So because it's never changing, it's never actually kind of notifying up, going, oh, hey, I'm ready. But interestingly, we only have one other screen. Like it only seems to think there's one connected remote participant. Let's come back into here, have a look at our component stack. And in the active call context, we have only one remote. Wonder if that's because this one still thinks it's connected. No, this one profile. No, not profile. Profiler. The active call context. So the state of the call. No, that's it's this one. Yeah, so the state is connected. Wonder why it hasn't picked up multiple other users. Order of execution problems are fun. Okay, so that's not going to solve my problem. Hang on a second. So this is the one that's blowing up. We can just keep reconnecting. Other virtual camera, audio device, left. It's definitely got that ref hook. Wonder why though it's exploding. I mean, let's just try something really like super dodgy. Actually, no, that will be name function retry. We'll pop that on there. If vidref.current yeah, otherwise we'll do a set timeout of retry, and then we'll do just pause it for a fraction. Like, this is super hacky. There is no reason that you should need to do that. There we go. Okay, so we've connected. There we go. Okay, so it does eventually get there. Ooh. Oh look, my breakpoint decided to hit. Oh, whoops! And now I'm inside of an infinite loop because where else? Set timeout. Console.log retry. And I'm really enjoying order of execution problems in React today. Oh. Interesting that it's... Interesting, like it's really aggressively attempting to retry. Failed to construct a media stream. Failed to convert to media stream track. I wonder what has failed. Something's going to have failed inside of there, but I don't know where in my codebase that's actually happened. Join call. No, that might just be in join call. Nothing that's actually of relevance. Okay, well, I wonder why it's still trying to construct a video stream. Or so if there's a current, like I don't know. Retry. Name, like, oh no, props.name, like props.name, like who are you trying to construct this additional video stream for that it's constantly failing? I mean, like, I would like it to be the third camera. Okay. Oh, it is attempting to create the right one. But I reckon whatever this failure happened here, I reckon this unhandled exception is actually what's causing this loop here to constantly happen. Anyway, so it's let's have a look. So which one did we render? We render out left. So it was never left that was the problem. It was always right. Right. Okay, so let's have a look at view. So what did view? No, it doesn't give me anything. So there's no way on view I can detect that it was a problem. But this deep, ugly call stack is saying that there was the error is here, connect call. Ah, setting microphone, right. No, it's because I've chosen a dud microphone, that's why. Which is fine. Like, I expect that to fail because that microphone doesn't exist. Curious. We come to profiler again. We come back to here, left. So we're not actually seeing inside of the stack the right attendee, which is really weird because like, we only see one attendee in the list here, but it's attempting to render out the right attendee, unless well, let's come back down here. Not stack, call. So the remote participants has no, it's just the left participant. Like, where is the right participant? Like, you're trying to render out a participant, but I don't have any visibility that you're even in the list. Leave that for now. Let's get rid of, we don't need, let's get rid of this information because that's not really of relevance to us anymore. And we'll get rid of this extra stack because I've got one too many stacks now. I am going to console.log the remote participants and then remote participants. Let's just have a look. Who is in our remote participant list? Pop that to the side. Oops, I didn't mean to send feedback. Now, so what I think will happen is if I go bang on, no, when we join call, that's when we try and set the audio device on the device manager. Let's leave it as this dud one and ignore that exception that's happening. Okay, so we've got no remote participants yet. There we go. Okay, so we received a remote participant, which is a length of 1, which is the right. Then remote participants still has a length of 1. Now it's only the left. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so that is a bug with how we're constructing our list of remote participants in the calling. No, not the calling context. The active call. Array will spread the array, won't it? Oops, no. We do want console clear. If I got on 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. So I'm assuming it's attempted to disconnect the participant at some point. And then we'll break there. Oh, should get rid of that. And console.log participant. Let's get their name, display name as connected. And then as disconnected. Let's just see if it is tracking connected, disconnected, and let's get rid of that retry. Like, we don't need that. We do need that. So yeah, we'll just do basic error handling around that. Reload, number 3, joiner. Hey, John Paul. Yes, this is not Zoom or Google Meet or anything like that. It is our own completely broken version of a video conferencing application. Let's ignore that error that's happening because it's an acceptable error. There. Oh, wait, no, I cleared off the error messages incorrectly at an incorrect point in time. That clear I should just turn off warnings. No, I just want infos. Okay, so idle. The right participant has connected. The left participant has connected. And it's all busted. It's all fantastically busted. And I'm going to assume that the reason that has happened is because the remote participants, which are being passed in as the to the callback handler, Yep, that's why. Ah, it's because it's capture. Damn you, closure states. So it's like one reference stale when it's going through this. So do constant remote no participant. Thanks for the follow as well, John Paul. I've just worked out what's gone wrong. So we're using the callback hook here to set up a callback that is going to be updated every time the remote participant collection is changed, or the state is changed, which is great. Like that's what we want. Unfortunately, that's not actually where we use the call. It's not where we do the capture. The capture is within inside of a nested callback, which is this one here. So this is actually what needs to be in the use callback hook. So we are going to create a new hook. Remote participant state changed, which is going to be a use callback here. And then this will take the remote participant array. Now, this is going to need the current participant though, which I don't have access to because that's captured by closure. I wish this. I really wish that this this event, when it was fired, would provide me with the participant rather than relying on me having captured that through closure states. Yeah, this is a mental breakdown on stream because so I need access to the participant, which is here, but that participant is only available within inside of this callback, but it needs to access something else that's available not within this callback, that's owned elsewhere. I'm starting to wonder if this is why they went with Redux instead of pure hooks in the sample application. I mean, it's possibly why. Or no, I know how we can do this. We go participant, which will be a remote participant, and then this will actually just call the remote participant state changed with the participant. I think that'll work. I think that's pretty horrible. Yeah, that needs the remote. No, that's not going to work either, because that's not going to resubscribe to the event on each change. So the arrow here that I've got, John, is so I've got font ligatures turned on. I could probably, let me just turn that quickly off in setting ligatures. So we'll just turn this off briefly. False. Okay, so that is actually the equals and then the greater than symbol. I just have font linkages turned on, which makes it, which makes the little rockets and things like this. This is an arrow function. So it's the arrow function is just a way of creating a function in JavaScript that has some slightly different semantics than using the function keyword. Now, how will we do this appropriately? Because we're kind of stuck with a problem of we need to modify something that's managed by a closure that's only available once, like through a closure state, but through a function that doesn't have access to when that closure state is available. So we basically need to do a lot of like subscribe, unsubscribe to this particular function here, or we actually unwind a whole bunch of what we had. Let's push this back into where it previously was. So it can come back into here, and we will always do there. So we will always add. So do set remote participants, which will just be rps.added. So we'll always add the remote participants, but we will track a separate collection, which will be hang on a second. A remote participant, they have an ID, didn't they? They have an identifier. Yes. I think, yeah, so the identifier is what I'm going to look at. So we will create we'll just create a new stub type. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll just hackily do it in line. Const remote participants state, and set remote participants state. That's a mouthful. Use state, and we are going to create so this is going to be an array where it has a key, which is a remote participant. Oh wait, no, it's it's an identifier where it will be one of these, I think. Can I make it that? And then this will be then a remote participant state. Let's chuck that to, well, let's make that an any for the moment. I hate any's, but we'll deal with it as an any, and then that will be an empty object to start with. Okay, that will be an empty array to start with. We'll add that in. Key. Let's just pop it as a string. See if that works. Then on so the participant, so we participant identifier. Now that is going to be, oh yeah, so like communication ID. If it's a phone number, it will be a string. I wonder if I can just two-string that. Maybe that's what we'll do. We are going to We're going to need to update. Yeah, okay, so I'm really having problems with things being within inside of callback loops. So what I was thinking is that we can go like we could do like set remote participants state, and then kind of like basically say like create a new key of what is it going to be, participant dot identifier dot to string, and then we'll do participant dot state. Wait, no, that shouldn't be an array. It's just an empty object. Like I just want to add that property to it. The problem is that I add that property to it and it will trash any existing ones that are there. So you kind of need to modify the existing object to add a new property to it. Yeah, this like, but I can't have that available. If I pass this in, it's always going to be a little out of sync. Because when it runs, it will run on like the previous iteration of it, I think. So the callback will be created, it'll be an empty object. We'll do that, we'll update it, it'll be then new object, but we're going to keep no, we can do this. We can do this with passing remote participant state in. We will push this up here. We will create a, this is going to be some horrible code. Create a new object, which will be, we'll spread the remote participant, we'll spread the existing state there, and then we're going to spread some code that I'm going to apologize for the fact that I'm writing, but we're going to write it anyway. So we're going to do the added on here. That's an array which we can map over. No, we will reduce over, and this will take an object and then the remote participant, and then this is going to return the object spread with a new key of rp.identifier.toString colon rp.state, and then that will start as an empty object. Okay, so that is going to be some of the most unpleasant code that I've ever written, but essentially what it's doing is, actually let me pull up JavaScript DevTools. Let's create a new tab. I'll bring this up here so that I can, because it's going to be easy to kind of illustrate what it's doing in the code and seeing that code execute rather than trying to just talk about it. So we've got like we'll do a variable and we'll call it, we'll have, first is Aaron, last is Pal. So we've got an object like that. Oh, I should name it person. Now, let's say that we got a bunch of additional information about that person, but as an array. So more info, more person info, and then that can be like job, age. Yeah, we'll just go with 2. Now, let's say that we want to take that existing object and then merge that array of keys into that object. So we could do person. So if we do person, and we want to create a new object at the end of it, so we can do dot 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 person. So that's going to create a new object with the same properties as person, but it's not equal to person. So if we do equal person, that's going to. I gotta just do this. So they're not the same because we've created a new object from that. If we wanted to take that array and add those that array as properties, we could then go more person info dot reduce. So the reduce function will iterate over every item in the array to flatten it down to a single result. Like you would commonly use, use reduce. Let's say that we had a bunch of numbers and we could do reduce, and then we do a comma b, and we do a plus b. So that's going to do a sum function. But if we were to provide an initial value of 10, then it's going to sum, but we're going to start with 10, so it equals 20. What that means is that we can take our person object and then we could do, or actually we could take the more person infos, reduce, and if we have an object and then the key, and then we create a new, this function here and provide an object as its starting, and we'll return the, we'll do object key equals, and we'll just go ABC, just mock it out, and then we will return object. So now we've created a new object with using the keys, using the array as the keys that go into that object. We can then take this bit of code and then grab our spread operator on person, spread operator on it, and we can create a new object, merges the array, which we've turned into a new object, and then we end up with one single object which has all these properties. Like I said, it's pretty horrible code, but it's kind of the simplest way to, like, if I don't know how many keys that I've got and I just kind of want to turn all of them into a new object, and then I want to merge that with an existing object. So yes, that's how we can really abuse JavaScript and make some fairly horrible code. And I'm just going to rename this remote participants so that it's a little bit easier to understand what that is. And then this is, oh no, I don't want to do that. Incoming remote participants. Okay, because then remote participants is something a little bit different. So we're actually not going to want to do that. Instead, we are going to want to we've still got I'm still running the risk of being able to, of trashing what remote participants is going to be. Yeah, you really need to track this sort of stuff outside of hooks, because the event model is firing in a way that React can't track. Like React, we need React to be aware that the participant state has changed so that we can update the remote participants that are there. I mean, I could capture this as just like do it ugly, and we'll do that, and then we'll go X there. Because then inside of here, instead of setting the remote participants, we could go X participant identifier to string equals participant.state. Just going to abuse some TypeScript stuff here, and then we'll do set remote participants to X again. Yeah, like, I mean, that'll work potentially. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work any worse than it's currently working. Let's have a look. Okay, and let's pop over to our component hierarchy, join the call. Now on the active call context. Okay, oh no, sorry, we've got an error that's appeared somewhere. Oh no, it's that same error that we always had, and it's irrelevant. Irrelevant, I tell you. No, what we didn't get what we were expecting because the active call context. Okay, so it does know that, well, that person did connect, but it didn't do a change on that bit of state, which meant that we never were aware that that person has connected. Let's see. React force component to re-render. Because, like, I mean, that's fundamentally what we want to do. Is like we want to just say, look, I don't care what you think, just re-render. Just trying to think if there's a better way to do an array. Push updates into the array. Force function component to re-render. Yeah. The only way is to have, yeah, that state stuff. No. That's not ideal, and that identifier is not working the way that I want it to work. No. I still think the idea of this set remote participants works well. Like, I still think this is the best solution. So I'm going to go back to just this because that's all horrible and hacky and not needed. Well, sort of not needed. But we need to make sure that this isn't getting captured by ClojureScope. So I need to put that, I mean, you kind of, yeah, you need that, not as a variable reference, but you need that as just like the memory reference of like, grab whatever's current on it. Or work out a smarter way to do, I want to add an item to an array, regardless of what is already in the array. Like, just keep adding items to that array. in state. But I think, yeah, like the only way to do that is to just sort of like replace the whole array. Let's have a look. React, use state array, add, yeah, use state, add to array. Use state with array React hooks. Okay, so looks like someone might have created one like for me already. Okay, items, set items. Wait, can I take a callback handler? Use state. It can. No, hang on a sec. Set state action. Oh, this is what I've been looking for the whole time. Oh, I can't believe that I missed that. Oh, I don't. Yeah. Remote participants. There, and then I can get rid of this. And then light bulb moment. And then this will be wrapped in squiggles. And we will grab that and pop it in there. Save. Right, participants. Okay. Yep. So we're going to say they've disconnected, which is fine. And then we will get the remote participant. We'll do that. It is not assignable to this needs to return. Of course, we need to return the new state. Duh. All right, well, that we reload. Now let's see what happens. Clear. Join the call. Okay. Where are the friends? We've got a lot of the left participant. There we go. Yes. Ta-da! It looks like we are now getting everyone in there. I mean, it doesn't help that everyone's on the exact same video feed. Well, actually, no, it looks like everyone is the left participant. We have a lot of left participants. Time to start an entirely new video call because I'm going to just say that things are in a pretty ugly state at the moment. Connect. So we're going to connect. We will call this other screen, and this one can be the maybe it's virtual camera with nothing. Let's connect this screen and this one. This can be left. There. You join the call. Oh, so my breakpoint's in. Let's get rid of those. And then right. Interesting that left is providing me with at least 2 video streams. I think if I go logic, yeah, there we go. So we can do that. Okay. So now we should have a bunch of broken cameras. No. No. It's still only having a single person in the call. Well, isn't that just dandy? Back to our components. The active call context. Here we go. It has. Oh, interesting. The right. I think it's because it's captured that inside of the closure scope. Because it's always the last participant, isn't it? Yes, and that's why the sample code I've been seeing was using a for each, because then it is definitely within inside of the closure scope. Okay. Incoming remote participants added for each participant. Do that code will all come up to here. Get rid of our loop, get rid of that. Save. We'll restart our call. I forgot that I had that Logitech camera as well, and we can use that as a fake camera. Okay, so here is the left call. Connect the other screen and this one here. So the other screen will be the OBS virtual camera with no audio device, and then we'll get the right screen with, oops, not that one, the Logitech camera. There we go, join, okay. No, it still trashed it. It still only updates a single one. So that's the previous state. No, why? And why does that person have like 3 or 4 video cameras available? Okay, well, I know that I can reload this screen and like the call's still running, so it's not actually going to cause any issues. We'll come into the active call context and we are going to be putting a breakpoint inside of, no, we'll wrap this in parentheses because we're going to return that eventually. And then debugger. We'll force the breakpoint ourselves since it doesn't like to connect it normally. Left. Join call. Okay, so remote participants. There is one remote participant that is the right-hand screen, and the incoming remote participant is the right-hand screen. That could be why we end up with 2. Ah, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, so now we have the other. Yep. I think because I'm doing that line up there, I think this is the one that's trashing it because each remote participant is going to be connecting. So we don't want to do that there. We just want to left with XSplit, Logitech, call. Okay, so the debugger, so we don't have any remote participants. We have the right remote participant joining. So we will continue on from that point. Now we have one remote participant, which is the right-hand screen, and we have another one, which we're trying to add, which is the other screen. And if we continue on from that, there we go. Now we have all of them. And the other screen is broken because that one I need to reload. But okay, so that makes sense there. And like, that's some horrible amount of pixelation that's happening. But like I said, I'm going to blame it on the fact that I am running like so many webcams and trying to stream it all over a very finite amount of bandwidth that I have here in my in Australia. Okay, now this is making a whole lot of more sense. So this remote participant updated. This is the function that's called, and it's called every time a participant is added to the stream. And that could be because you've joined the stream and we're finding all the existing participants and we're throwing them in, or because you're already in a call and then we're adding, someone else has joined and so they're being added. There's also the removed. We haven't got to remove, but that's when you disconnect from the call. So we know to remove someone from the list. Actually, what happens if, let's take one of these browser windows and then let's just reload this one here. Oh, look at that. It did actually remove that person from the call. Ta-da! I'm excited. That actually worked kind of like off the bat. I'm not subscribing to the removed event, which is probably the way that it should be done. That'd be more optimal. Yeah, there we go. And interesting that only hit once. Oh no, sorry, I was in this one. Yeah, so then when that person like reconnected to the call, it only ran once because that was only one person coming into the call. Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. So yeah, we have the incoming and removed. Like I said, we're not using removed yet. For the incoming participants, we go over the array, which I probably actually can now turn back into a for of loop because it wasn't. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that back into a for const participant of incoming dot added, and we can do that. And then I think I need to get rid of that. There we go. Okay, let's just check if that works. So that should still work. Let's remove there. Then we can join with this one. Yep. Okay. So that's added. Yeah. So there we go. So we've got everyone in the call. Okay. So we have a couple of events that we weren't subscribing to, and that was the fundamental problem that I had at the start of the episode, is that we weren't subscribing to the correct events. We have participant state changed. Now, this is the one that tells you like what is the current participant doing in the call? Like, are they connecting? Are they connected? Or are they disconnecting? And there's a couple of other states that we're not currently handling. We're only really caring about connected and disconnected. What we probably would want to do, like in a real application, you probably also want to connect to the connecting state. Can I jump through to what that represents? Where is it? So, idle and connecting, you would probably want to use in a real application to indicate that someone is joining, and like the state that they're going through in the joining process. Similarly with in lobby. So, like if you're doing lobby based support, so someone joins and you've got to explicitly allow them into the call. So that's where in lobby would be, but we're not implementing that. If I get some time, I might try and put some of these additional states in off stream. So we capture the participant state, because this is going to change and it's going to mutate on the remote participant object. But that event isn't visible to like any JavaScript framework. So whether it's React or Vue or Angular or whatnot, they're not going to be aware that the participant state has changed because it's something that's happening just kind of internally of the SDK. So that's where the participant state changed event comes in. So we need to subscribe to that event and say, well, when this event fires, we need to do something that will indicate that we care about that. The problem was that I couldn't work out how we would set the remote participants and update the existing array, because we have this existing array of remote participants, but if we try and reference it from here up on line 43, that's just the local state. It's always out of sync with the event because it's captured via closure scopes. And I'd completely forgotten that when you use a React hook to do state updating, you can either pass in like, here's the state update, or a callback function which will be provided with the existing state, and then we can then we give it the changed state as a result of that, which is what we actually needed to do. So that's what we want there. I have got the rule to set up with parentheses around. So this callback handler is bound then down here to the remote participant updated. That will happen for every time something happens with remote participants. Someone adds, someone leaves, you join a call, and each that event is added for each time someone is there, and so on and so forth. Now, the last thing I want to do is I want to actually filter out some of the video streams, because what we can see here is that we end up with actually 2 for each user, but one of them doesn't have a video stream. And that is because there is going to be filter on the video stream. Oops, we need an extra parentheses there. So on stream dot is available. So yeah, we only want streams that are available. Because, well, I don't quite know why you might have multiple streams. I'm guessing the second stream is a screen share. Yeah, like that's my guess of what the second stream is going to be. Let's just reload this one. We'll reconnect the right-hand screen with our non-existent camera and audio device. So this time we should only end up with, yep, 1 each. There we go. So this is the available video stream for that user, and this is the available video stream for the other user. Awesome. So that was just a little bit of filtering that we should have had in there, and I just obviously hadn't got around to doing it. Now, like we could do some styling on this here. So that span, position, absolute, and then we could do like bottom 0, left 0. Is the div? Shouldn't it be? No, I need to do position relative on this. Position relative. There we go. And then where did my little span go? There it is. And we could do like background color of hash hash coff OFFEE. So we'll make it coffee, and then we do like padding. Do a 5 pixel padding all around, and then bottom will actually be a 5 pixels in, and then we'll do bottom 5 pixels, left will be, yep, 5 pixels, and like border radius of 2px There we go, like some little rounded corners. Actually, no, padding. We'll do, was it top, right, bottom left? So if we do top and then 10 pixels, there we go. 5 px, 20 px. No, it's 20 there, and then 10. Oops. I wonder why. Bottom, we'll make that 4 pixels, and then border radius could be like border radius. Right. What is it? Border radius 0px, 0px, 5px, 0px. No. Top, right, bottom. There we go. Look at that. That looks a little bit pretty. That's where your name would appear in the little pop out, so that we can see that. And let's just put that in our CSS. I have a CSS file, right? I do. It's got nothing in it. Nice. Zero styling so far. Dot vid. What did I call it? Dot video display, and then span. And we will copy and paste this, and then that's right. I need to put video display needs to have a display position relative. Position relative. There we go. Cool. All right. Well, I think that just about brings us to the end of the stream. We're running we weren't running a little bit late today. I kind of stuffed up the start of the video today, but let's scroll up so that I've reloaded. I want to get our little name overlays on there. Yep, Aaron, and then we will go. So this is the Logitech broken one. Actually, no, we'll use the exploit PCAM as well. Now, why didn't it appear up here? No, where's my span? Oh, and then let's just chuck a Z index of 1. Yeah, so that way it always sits on top. And then we'll do Z index of 1. Look at that. Yay. Now we've got a little overlay. Exciting. Okay. Yeah. So going to wrap that up here for today. Thanks for hanging out on stream. Oh, that pixelation really is quite terrible. I'm quite happy with the fact that we managed to get that going, connecting. We didn't get to doing like the call controls, so you can do mute and unmute and explicitly hang up from a call. That will be what we'll tackle next time, but that's going to be just adding some additional buttons. Another thing that I know that you can do, but I haven't got the functionality in there yet, is to update your name. And there is actually an event in on the participant on. There is a display name changed event. So we're going to need to think about like how we tackle some of this stuff. Console.log new name, and that will be participant display name. So we're going to need to think about like how we do some of these updates, because we will need to do some kind of like notification to everyone that that's happened. Ooh, I wonder if there's like other things that we can do. Like is there a way that we could simulate like the hand raise feature in Teams and stuff like that? I wonder if there's other stuff we can pop onto like the comms channel back and forth between them, or maybe that's more where the chat functionality would be in. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. So next week, yeah, we'll try and add some of the call controls. So yeah, hang up, mute, unmute, turn camera on and off, so on and so forth. Like that, because that sort of stuff I think will be, quite useful to have in not too much longer. In between streams, I'm going to just do some little tweaks to fix this layout, because it's very much a dev-centric layout where it's just like a vertical stack. I'll get it so that it's like if there's 2 people, it's side by side. If it's 3 people, it does something, I guess, a little bit better than the way that it's working. Like start building out grids and get it to work out what you want to do and what the layout should be based off of how many people are in the call. And then we'll see how many times I can add myself to the call through grainy video, because that's fun for sure. But yes, thanks for joining me today. I will do a commit. I'll push this stuff up to the GitHub repo for this, which you can get at github.com/AaronPowell/SuperDuper Enigma, because I still haven't come up with a better name for the project. So it's still sitting there as SuperDuper Enigma. Oh, I just realized that this doesn't actually have a license on it yet. I'm going to add a license file to it too. It should be just under an MIT license, but that's my bad. And yeah, I'll do a tag for this week as well, so that you can see the diff between last week and this week of what changes. Actually been fairly minimal changes in the end, but we worked out some of the stuff along the way. But I'll be back same time next week, 2 p.m. Sydney time, whatever that is for your local time zone. I don't know. But again, thanks for hanging out today, and stay safe. And yeah, we'll have some fun next week.